Hello, welcome to another class with Tutor Coco. In case you came across a question like this, let's read the question. A ray of light is incident on an equilateral triangular glass prism of refractive index 3/2. Calculate the angle through which the ray is minimally deviated in the prism. All right, so to solve this question is very, very simple, and I will guide you through what you need to do. Now, let's take the question again. A ray of light is incident on an equilateral triangular glass prism. So, in physics, when we talk about a refraction of light through prism, we normally use two prisms. Either we use the rectangular block or the rectangular glass prism, or we make use of the what? Triangular glass prism. Here are the two types of prism that we normally use when we talk about refraction of light in physics, especially the practical aspects of it. So now, but this question is talking about the triangular what? Glass prism. And this triangular glass prism is an equilateral triangular. And you know the meaning of equilateral triangle. So in an equilateral triangle, all the angles are what? Equal. So if this is angle X and this is angle X and this is angle X, of course, if you add the 3x together, x plus x plus x, you get what? 180 degrees. So x plus 7 will give us 3x. So 3x plus 108 is equal to 180. Now we'll divide both sides by 3. So x is equal to what? 60 degrees. Now it means that each angle of an equilateral triangle is what? 60 degrees. So I will replace x with what now? 60 degrees, 60 degrees, and 60 degrees. Of course, you may be asking that what am I going to do with this 60 degree? It's because there is something that we must look for. We call it A. A is called the angle of the prism. A is called the what? The angle of the what? Triangular prism. So the value for the angle of A here is what? 60 degree. I may not be able to draw the ray diagram for this particular question, but there's a general formula that will solve any question that has to do with angle of what? Minimally deviated. The minimally deviated angle. Sure you understand now? Okay, now to calculate the angle, recall refractive index of a glass prism, especially the triangular prism, is given as sine into angle of the prism plus angle of minimum deviation. I'll write it as dm. You divide it by 2. Everything divided by sine angle of the prism divided by 2. So this is the general formula that you will use to calculate the angle of minimum deviation in an equilateral triangular prism. Please take note of this formula. This formula will actually really help you. Right, so this that I draw here, this symbol here, means refractive index of the prism. And of course, because it is a glass, the refractive index here is what? 3 divided by 2. So our refractive index is 3 divided by 2. We put it down there. Then you substitute. We have sine into. Now, A is the angle of the equilateral prism triangle. And that's what? 60 plus angle of minimum deviation, dm, that we are to calculate, divided by 2, divided by sine. A is still what? 60. I'll still divide it by 2. Are you paying attention? So here, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to cross multiply. So I have what? 3 divided by 2. We multiply sine. What is 60 divided by 2? That should be what? 30 degrees. That will be equal to what? Sine 60 plus angle of minimum deviation that we are looking for divided by 2. Can you see? All right. So what is sine 30? have 3 over 2 multiplied by sine 30 is what? 0.5 is equal to, this will still be what? Sine into 60 plus angle of minimum deviation divided by 2. Can you see? Now using our calculator, 3 divided by 2 times 0.5 will give us, so 3 divided by 2 multiplied by 0.5 will give us 0.75. Can you see? Is equal to what? Sine 60 plus angle of minimum deviation divided by 2. So let me sine inverse of this. So that is the sine inverse of 0.75 is equal to what we remain here. Now is 60 plus angle of minimum deviation divided by 2. So find the shear arc sine of this angle, that is 0.75. That's 48.59 is equals to 60 plus angle of minimum deviation divided by 2. So from here, we cross multiply. Yeah. So we have 2 multiplied by this. That will give us 97.18. 97.18 equals to what? 60 plus angle of minimum deviation. So from here, angle of minimum deviation is equals to 97.18 minus 60. That's minus 60. And that will give us 37.18. 37.18. So by approximation, we have 37.2 degree. So we will check the option. Option A 30, option B 37.2, option C 42, option D 48.6 degree. So at the end of the video, we were able to calculate the angle of minimally deviated. So, but we call it angle of minimum deviation. Now, what are the other informations you need to know about angle of minimum deviation? Angle of minimum deviation only occurs when the angle of incidence is equals to the what? Angle of what? Emergence. When the emergent angle is equals to what? Angle of incidence. That is when what? Angle of minimum deviation, that is when it's what? It occurs. Alright, I'll be doing more videos on how I can relate angle of the prism, angle of in refraction, angle of refraction, angle of incidence, and angle of emergence with the angle of the prism. I'll do a video on how I will relate these 4 together. There's a relationship between all these. And thank you. If you find this video very useful, please tap the share button and follow me, subscribe to my channel, and invite your friends to follow my channel. Thank you. Bye.